Come here!
Our reserve forces are getting low.
Can't stand! Help me! Here! Damn it!
You know, this is one of those times that I'm really mad that I'm right. God damn it. Why did this have to be true? It all led up to it. But it's true. But you've been living under a rock, then you probably know a little game called Battlefield 2042, and it's not doing very well. And that might be a little bit of an understatement, but regardless, that's what it is. And today, we saw a video, actually 2 videos technically, one from Tom Henderson, who I will be leaving the link down in the description below, so you can go check out the original video. Shout out to him, and also Crash Games, because they did a ton of research for this and everything. It's amazing put well videos, tons of details. Go check it out. I'm mostly just gonna be reacting to it and giving my own personal thoughts and opinions, because I've definitely been thinking this ever since I played the beta, that there is something wrong with Battlefield 2042. And not the obvious ones, you know, missing features and all that stuff, but just the feel of it, right? And all the claims that we saw over the last couple of years about this game before it came out, it's just like, is this really what happened? Like, what happened here? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for that article. You guys remember Anthem and that whole story broke and everything after the game was released? Well, we just got that from Battlefield 2042. So let's talk about it. So real quickly, if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Anthem, basically what happened with Anthem is that when Anthem came out, it was in a huge mess, and now look at where the game is today. Oh, that's right. It's not getting its 2.0 release. It's basically just staying where it is. No one's playing it. Maybe like 5 people, but again, that's about it, right? And we're all wondering what the heck happened with Anthem. Well, some reporters, you know, reached out to developers, did a lot of research and everything like that. Come to find out that that game was in basically development hell. It was in pre-production for about 5 to 6 years, give or take. And the actual post-development, which if you don't know, pre-development is like kind of getting all the ideas down, the concepts and everything. And then post-development is where you really go to town and you actually make the game essentially. And that was only made for like 16 months or something like that. And that's what happened with Anthem. Well, based on that, we are all thinking, okay, EA must have pushed BioWare and everything like that to do this kind of game and everything like that. And well, there are definitely a few parts to where EA can be at fault, or, you know, seen for forcing to like use the Frostbite engine and things like that. It actually came down to BioWare's management, essentially. People not knowing what to do, not knowing what they wanted from the game. Lots of people leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back. And it's a huge mess, essentially, where they didn't want any mention of competition or looking at how things were done from other teams and everything. And so it was a really just bad situation to be in for BioWare, and a lot of people lost their trust from it and everything. Well, now we have Battlefield 2042, and the story is a little different. I'm gonna sum this up in like the shortest period. So again, check out the videos down in the description below if you want to know what we're talking about here. But basically, the way I predicted it back in the beta, I said to myself, okay, there's no way this game was actually made for 3 years. I said, all right, Hazard Zone or something else was being made, and they turned and did a 180, and that's how we got Hazard Zone and the basic concept of a Battlefield multiplayer. And I said, so I'm gonna guess that's gonna be very similar to how Anthem was done, in maybe only a year, about 15 months or so. I'm gonna find out. Was pretty on the nose. Tom Henderson's video, again, very summed up as he essentially here. DICE was basically forced, asked, commanded, whatever verb you want to use, by EA to make a battle royale. And it was basically going to use the Battlefield name to help push and make sales essentially. And over the course of the first year and a half or so, where EA wants this and a lot of the developers were like, this isn't really what Battlefield's about, this isn't really working and everything, that is where, after Apex did absolutely so well, they changed course and they took what they had from the battle royale that they're making with the Battlefield name essentially and made Hazard Zone, which is why, if you've actually played Hazard Zone in the current game right now, the specialists actually work. But this kind of shows the problem that EA was basically telling DICE, chase the trends, don't innovate. And a lot of people want to innovate. And there's been a lot of staff that have left DICE that really wanted to innovate and try new things. But EA was like, no, we want this because it's going to make a ton of money, essentially. That's where you see a lot of this talent and stuff leaving. There was also some stuff when it came to Frostbite where DICE is the ones who actually made the Frostbite engine. The people who made that engine are not there anymore. They're all gone for the most part. And so when they finally did make the shift to make a more traditional multiplayer game, it wasn't 3 years. They were not working on this for 3 years. They took some of the concepts from the Battle Royale / Hazard Zone stuff that they've been making and then made the multiplayer. And they had 15 months, according to Tom's video, which is absolutely insane that they were actually able to do what they did with only 15 months, not to mention the whole pandemic. But it come to find out, going back to the engine stuff again, and just simply people working at home, you had people who didn't know what they were doing. They were too new. They did not have any idea on how the Frostbite engine really worked and everything. And it just one thing after another. Even the whole concept of when EA came out and said they are way ahead of schedule. Turns out in Tom's video, he talked with a developer or a past developer who had worked on other games. And they said, yeah, whoever said that didn't really know what they were saying, basically. So they basically lied, which, again, with EA and everything, are they really that, shocked? No, not really. That's the thing. And it's just, it baffles me that this happened again after all of the backlash from Anthem. And unfortunately, all this backlash we're seeing now in Battlefield 2042, I keep seeing that to developers. And it is not the developers' fault on this game. They were told what to do. That's unfortunately how the job was going for them. This entire thing when it comes to Battlefield 2042 is all on the higher ups. Maybe they're, we don't know 100% of the story, obviously. This is all just simply done research via Tom's video and everything, and also by Crash Games. Based on what we're seeing and when job positions were opening, people were leaving, coming in, all that stuff, it was mostly EA that either signed off on particular things or only would sign off on particular things, and there was no way to actually change anything at the last minute or try to completely try something different. And they wanted the popular Battle Royale, or they wanted to really monetize a thing, hence why we have specialist class that we have now and not traditional classes, because it doesn't monetize well. Which again, most people figured that out between the beta and the game releasing and everything, but this all just shows it right there. And when I saw this video, I watched this video like 3 times going to work today, coming back. I watched the one on Crash Games' channel as well. And I sat there and I said, this is literally Anthem 2.0 in terms of what happens. But instead of BioWare's heads being, the people who made things worse and worse off, essentially. Again, a little bit of EA in there as well. This is solely, or at least 90% from the looks of it, because of EA and them not letting DICE innovate and try to go ahead of what is currently trending right now to become the new thing that trends. Because let's be honest, a lot of people are getting Battle Royale fatigued. And I just, it really saddens me to see DICE like this after playing so many of their games from the early 2000s until now. I went back and I've played Battlefield 4. I've gone back and played Battlefield 3. And it is night and day. And the reason for that, again, is because you have these developers who have left, which is fine. I totally understand that, by the way, that they have left and they wanted to pursue different things. But one thing in Tom's video that he said that really caught my attention, the reason they all left, they all had one simple answer: creativity. Under EA, especially under the last 5 to 10 years, they have not been allowed to really try and do new things, to innovate, to create new things. It's always just been, do this because it's popular. That's it. And it's so sad to see that, unfortunately. Again, I know I'm making this sound super simple and everything. Please go check out those videos, guys. You really have to go check those out. But it's just, oh my God. When after I finished the videos today and I looked at it, and I'm sorry if this is getting sounding more personal than it is simply just trying to report on something, but this hits near and dear to my heart, because I've loved the Battlefield series ever since I tried it out for the very first time. It's just sad to see that they can't, they're not being allowed essentially to innovate and everything, and they weren't given the proper time to really make this game. Because again, like I said, based on the video and all the data that was given to us and everything, this game was only made within 15 months. That's it. That's not that long. It really isn't, especially when people are working from home, and a lot of these developers don't have these high-end machines and everything. They go into the office to do that kind of stuff. And then obviously when you're building a game, you have to be able to take parts of it that you're building and be able to send it over to another person to test it out and everything. But instead of just simply saying, oh, you know, that person's in the office over there, it'll take 5 minutes to transfer it over just via cables and everything. No, now it's over like VPNs and Wi-Fi and everything, and that takes hours upon hours, so you can't test as many stuff during the day. And it's just really sad, unfortunately, to see this, you know. And I know people, you know, they're only going to see particular headlines and everything, and a lot of people, this is probably going to pass a lot of people until potentially even, you know, some huge media website essentially covers this type of thing. But I just want to commend Tom for making this video, you know. And again, also shout out to Crash Games as well, because his video talked about how there were DICE employees or ex-DICE employees who would go on to the Glassware websites and talk about things that they recognized and saw at DICE, and they're just like, we're not allowed to really do what we want to do anymore. You know, we are a shell of our former selves. And I mean, heck, most of the big main DICE developers, they're all gone now. They all made their own little, you know, studio and everything, which is awesome. I can't wait to see what they come out with. I think it's unfortunate that unless you really get either people who have really been with Battlefield for a long time and understand the franchise and are able to get into the higher up positions and basically tell EA heads to be like, no, we are going to do this. The Battlefield series and the games that we have come to know and love, they're gone now. Whatever you can still play right now, 3, 4, 1, I guess 5 if you still like that. That's it. That is basically it. Unless EA finally gets it through their skulls to not force people to do stuff that they don't want to do and allow them to innovate. I mean, can you imagine just for a second, right? You allow these developers who know Battlefield and they say, look, this isn't trending right now, but we're going to innovate and we're going to make this the next thing that is going to be copied by everybody else. And EA is like, nah, just do what they're doing. We want the money right now. It's just like, why? What is the point of this? And again, I know the point. It's money, right? It's just EA, their company. They want their business. They want the money, essentially. But it's just, again, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, just sad, unfortunately, just to see DICE in this state right now, you know. And a lot of people can easily probably track it back, you know, even more and be like, well, ever since they were bought up by EA and everything like that, right? So, but they've had good games, right? They had Bad Company 2, they had Battlefield 3, they had Battlefield 4. Yes, I know Battlefield 4 obviously was a very rocky first year when it was released and everything, but overall it was still a good game after everything was done, because you had DICE LA that was in there and they were big and passionate about the game and everything, and they really made it awesome. But it's sad to see Battlefield in this state. And as a fan, I don't know what to expect going forward. I really don't. So, but I have to tell everybody again, go check out the video or videos. Again, link down in the description below. Go check those out. See what they're all about. And let me hear your thoughts down below in the comments if you've seen it already, if you're a Battlefield fan. I'd really love to see what you guys have to think about this. And again, you know, I think it should be common knowledge at this point, but don't attack the developers who are going onto Twitter and everything to say, you know, like, guys, we're doing our best. We got this, you know. I will give DICE this. They have been tackling the issues a lot faster than they have in the past, even back in the good old days, right? They are tackling these issues way faster than usual. Hopefully that can keep going for however long this is going to keep going for. But just know it's not their fault. Your average developer, it's not their fault. It really isn't, okay? They're put into a position that they are just not prepared for in terms of their skill, because they're still new and they haven't been able to learn from, you know, the people who know how to make this stuff. The reason the maps don't feel like Battlefield to most people is the people who made them, unfortunately, it was just thrust upon them and they don't have the experience to make that stuff yet, unfortunately. So cut them some slack. Cut them some slack. EA, higher ups and people like that? No, God, this is all on them. This is 100% on them. It just is. Anyway, I could keep talking and rambling on about this, but regardless, Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments, guys, when it comes to this news and this research that was done for Battlefield 2042, and basically the true timeline of how this game was developed and everything. It's just sad to see, unfortunately. So let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, leave a like if you liked the video, and let us know if you want to cover more of this type of stuff when it comes to just reacting to news and seeing this type of stuff instead of simply just reporting the news. Let us know your thoughts if you want to start reacting to this type of thing, and looking at both sides of the picture and everything. So anyway, guys, I've been Tallen with Find That Gaming Direct, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Johnny.